Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girvaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girvaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Natira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Shama Sundara Radha Shama Sundara Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Gauranitya Jaya Gauranitya Jaya Gauranitya Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hari Bol. Thank you, Anasuya Mataji.
Thank you.
So, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Today we are going to start 10th chapter of Shrimad Bhagavatam. So, another milestone that we are going to complete second canto in few days and going to enter into the another nectarian skand or canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam, which is the third canto. So congratulations to all of you, because all of us are together coming, and each day we are from 9:30 to 10:30, we are giving this time to Shrimad Bhagavatam, hearing from lots of speakers. So Hari Bol to all of you, and Hare Krishna, and hats off to your dedication. So on this note, I'll just first share my screen and then we'll do the prayers. Yeah, okay. So we'll start with the prayers. Mangalacharan. Yeah, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet. Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimati Jagata Swami Nidhyanam Namacharya Padanitaya Prabhupada Call Kathatam Dhanakram Karibu. Yes, so chapter 10 starts with the title of chapter 10 is Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. So here we will come to know why Bhagavatam is called, or which Puranas are called the Mahapurana, why Bhagavatam is the Amala Puran. So another definition of Amala Puran, and lots of things about the subject matter of Shrimad Bhagavatam as well. But before that, I'll show you one PPT on which, can you all see my PPT?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So this is chapter 10, Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. And today we are going to cover the shloka number 1 to 5. So the recap of the previous chapters, or 9th chapter, the previous chapter, is Lord Brahma, because we have already covered it in the last session on Friday. Mataji has described it very well. So I've just taken the points that Lord Brahma underwent penances. Then after he had the darshan of Vaikuntham and of the Lord, and then he asked some questions to Lord, in which the answer to that, Lord had spoken Chatushloki, which is the condensed form of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the succession of Srimad Bhagavatam, how Srimad Bhagavatam goes from one person or one acharya to another. So this is the recap of 9th chapter. Now, what is there in 10th chapter? So the overall view of the 10th chapter is that 1 to 9 shlokas, we will see, 5 shlokas actually we will see here, today's session, that 10 characteristics of a Puran. And 10 to 35, we will see Sarga, the creation of the Virat Rupa, and the Parikshit Maharaj, answer to Parikshit Maharaj's question. And then 36 to 47 shlokas of this chapter, Visarga will be explained. So what is this Sarga and Visarga? We will come to know. We are going to cover in today's session. 48 to 51, Shaunak Rishi will inquire about Vidura and Maitreya, and that's how we will go ahead in the 3rd canto, where Vidura will meet Maitreya and how he will meet Maitreya Muni. All that we will see. So coming to these 2 shlokas of 9th chapter. So always it is important to come to know that where the chapter ended and where the next chapter, like here, how the 9th chapter ended and how the 10th chapter is starting. 10th chapter is starting with the 10 characteristics of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So why these 10 characteristics? So this is very clearly explained in these 2 shlokas, which are the 44th shloka of 9th chapter and 46th, the last shloka of 9th chapter. So I will ask Vasudha Mataji, can you simply just read the translation of these 2 shlokas?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thereupon, the supplementary Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which was described by the personality of Godhead and which contains 10 characteristics, was told with satisfaction by the father to his son, Narada. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.44. Translation, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O King, your questions as to how the universe became manifested from the gigantic form of the personality of Godhead, as well as other questions, I shall answer in detail by explanation of the 4 verses already mentioned. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.46.
Haribol. Thank you, Mataji. So in 44th shloka, Srila Shukadev Goswami is saying that the Srimad Bhagavatam, which contains 10 characteristics, was told by Brahma to Narada. Okay, so he spoke about these 10 characteristics. So that's how, when he is starting of the 10th chapter, he is talking about in first shloka itself, he is talking about these 10 characteristics. also he is saying in the next shloka, in this 46th shloka, he's saying that I'll give all the answers related to the manifestation, because this is one question which has been asked by Parikshit Maharaj to Shukadev Goswami. So Shukadev Goswami is also saying that I'm going to give you all the answers about the manifestation of this world. How will I give it? By explanation of these 4 verses. 4 verses which Lord spoke to Brahmaji, the Chatushloki. So Chatushloki is actually the condensed form of Shrimad Bhagavatam, and the explanation by different sages is actually the Shrimad Bhagavatam. So now we came to know that what is the link between 9th chapter and the 10th chapter, and how 10th chapter is starting up with the 10 characteristics, because Shukadev Goswami already mentioned about it. Okay, so what we will do, we'll go to the shloka and we'll read the first shloka of 10th chapter, and then we will see what is there and we'll explain. Okay, yeah. Anasuya Mataji, read the shloka and the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you. Shri Shuka Uvacha Atra Sargo Visargasya Sthanam Poshanamukhayaha Manvantareshvanukatha Nirodho Muktirashrayaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following: the creation of the universe, sub-creation, planetary systems, protection by the Lord, the creative impetus, the change of Manus, the science of God, returning home, back to Godhead, liberation, and the Samam Bonam. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. I think Vasudha Mataji read already, right? Vasudha Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. I read both the translations.
Yeah.
Hare
Fine.
Krishna.
Yeah. So Matajis who has already read can lower down their hands so that I can give chance to the other people. Okay. Yeah. So now this 10 characteristics, as we all know, that when we study a subject, when we study a scripture, here in this case, we are studying a scripture, Shrimad Bhagavatam. So we should know that what are the subjects we are dealing with. And these 10 characteristics or 10 subject matters are very important, because if you want to know that what is this Shrimad Bhagavatam is all about, if you will just remember this shloka, you will know that what all portions, what all subjects I am reading in Shrimad Bhagavatam, or are, we are covering in Shrimad Bhagavatam. So this is very important shloka. If you people can just, try to by heart this shloka, it will be wonderful, because this way you will remember the shloka. By the shloka, you will remember all the 10 characteristics. So we will go one by one in all the characteristics. We will just see the one-liner definition of each characteristics or each subject matter, just to understand that what are the subject matters and what it is dealing with. So first comes in this line, which is called Sarga. So what is Sarga? Sarga is basically a primary creation. Now, what is a primary creation? Primary creation is to create, for Brahmaji to, create, for creation, Lord had given some ingredients, some raw materials. So like Lord had given a Brahmanda, and with the Brahmanda, Lord had given some 16, somewhere people say 16, somewhere people say 24 elements, elements of matter. And from that, Brahmaji is doing the creation. So Sarga comes, which talks about the 16 principal elements. 16 principal elements. I'll stop sharing this and will show you in. Now everyone can see these 10 subject matters here.
Yes,
Presentation. Yeah. Okay. So this is about the creation of the primary creation, which is done by law. So like we see that there is a land, and we see that there are some raw materials, put over there, like some, cement is there, sand is there, the iron rods are there, concrete is there. So we know that something is going to happen. Some building will come up over here. So similarly, here Lord is giving all the raw materials, all the ingredients or basic principles, which are called as basic principles for the sub-creation. So these basic 16 or 24 elements are called as the primary creation, in which even the Brahmand is also coming. So this is basically called Sarga. So is everyone clear about Sarga? What is Sarga? The primary creation by the Lord, which is coming in the third shloka also. Actually, it will be little more in detail described in third shloka as well, where we will read the 16 principal items given by the Lord. 16 principal items given by the Lord. Next comes after Sarga, Visarga. Now, what is Visarga? The ingredients Brahmaji got. Now, from these ingredients, Brahmaji is making or doing the creation. So that is why it is called sub-creation. That is why it is called sub-creation or secondary creation by Lord Brahma. Because he got the ingredients, he got the place where he has to do the creation. And that is how this creation by Brahma is called as the secondary creation. Because primarily Lord had given all the raw materials. So that is why it is Visarga, which is secondary creation by Lord Brahma. So Sarga and Visarga are okay, right? Then comes Sthanam. So now what is Sthanam? Sthanam, as the name suggests, right? It is a place. So the 14 planetary systems come under Sthanam. So Brahmaji is creating, right? 14 planets. And then as per the Jiva's desire, as per the soul's karma, they are being placed in different planets. So this placement of the Jivas and the different planets is called as Sthanam. And if you want to understand the Sthanam in a better way, then the Sthanam is the original place of the Jiva, which we will discuss in the fourth shloka. And what is the original position? Original position is always the spiritual world. For Jiva, the original position is the spiritual world. So this we will little bit in detail, we will talk in the fourth shloka, which is going to come. So this is Sthanam, the 14 planetary systems and the positioning of the different Jivas in these planets. So Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, these are clear. Now we come to Poshanam. So what is Poshanam? Poshanam is protection given by Lord. So what is this protection which is given by Lord? Is it not that protection of the Lord, each and every living entity gets it, right? Each and every living entity, in some form or the other. Poshanam is there for all the living entities. But when it comes to the devotees, then Lord is always, more concerned about the devotees. So this is not partiality. This is what we will discuss later. But first of all, understand what is Poshanam. So Poshanam is that even a devotee is doing some mistake, purposefully or unintentionally, without knowing. Then also Lord always protects in all the situations. So there is one such shloka in Bhagavad Gita where Lord is talking about the devotees doing abominable acts. What is that shloka? Which shloka is that? Lord is talking about... Hari bol, Tanushri Mataji. I think Tanushri Mataji gave the answer, right? Hare Krishna, Hari bol. Api chet sudaracharo bhajate mam ananya bhag sadhu reva samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. Hari bol. Yeah. So there, what does Lord say? Lord says that even they do some abominable acts also. The people who are devotees, who are in devotional service, it's not that they have left it. They are still practicing devotional service. By chance, they are doing some mistake. So we are not the people who should judge, who should say that, oh, this devotee has done this devotee had done that. No, because Lord himself is saying that he still has to be considered as a saintly person. So this is not the partiality. Why this is not the partiality, Mataji's or Prabhuji's? Anyone wants to say that? This means why? How should we understand it? Maybe some people can say this is the partiality. Why? They are doing abominable act. Their falling down is happening and they are falling down from their position. And then also Lord is saying this, if they are doing devotional service, it's okay, it's right. Why so?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah,
Mataji, it is the vasana karma, the vasana that we have taken from the previous births, Mataji, and we make anarthas. But we very well know that Krishna is the ultimate. We have chosen the path. We are on the right path, Mataji. So these anarthas will go away by devotional service. Hare Krishna.
By devotional service, by chanting, by sevas. Yes, perfect. Yes, Mataji. Also, any other answer?
Hare Krishna, Radhika here.
Yeah, Radhika Mataji.
So basically, the moment we start chanting and we start devotional service, we come under the direct supervision of Krishna. He takes over. So, so it's like the king's child, right? The king personally will jump into the well to save the child. Like that, Krishna, he says that I will personally take care. So if you're going to slip, it is my duty to hold your hand and bring you back to the path. So I think that that's the feeling for it.
Haribol. Very nice. Yeah, perfect, Mataji. Yeah, perfectly answered by Suma Mataji and Radhika Mataji. Actually, that both the answers are correct. Now there is one more perspective to it. So I'm just going to give this perspective. This is not my perspective. I've also heard whatever I'm saying here, it is all heard by my Diksha Gurus, my Shiksha Gurus, my Diksha Guru, my seniors. So this is also I've heard from His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhu. And a very nice explanation that what Krishna does, this is not partiality, this is reciprocation. What happens, suppose you have two children, and one child is very, he's always coming, hugging you, kissing you, saying, I love you. And the other child is not maybe doing that. Maybe means everyone has his or her nature. So, but the moment the person will come or the child will come and hug you, what will you do? Will you just stand like that? No, you will also in turn hug her or hug him. And the same will happen in all the reciprocations, right? So it's not that you are not loving someone and you are loving some other person more. It is just the reciprocation. The way we want Lord to behave with us, the way we want Lord to love us, the similar way Lord is reciprocating. So this is not partiality. This is reciprocation. So when it comes, it always creates a question, right? It always creates a question. Whether Lord is partial? No, he's not partial. He is reciprocated because he is the supreme person. And this way we can understand that Lord is a person. He is not impersonal. So this is protection. This is oceanum which Lord gives to all the people, but to devotees, because they are he is reciprocating to the devotees. And the fifth one comes, the fifth point of this subject matter is Uti. So now what is Uti? Uti is urge to work, urge to perform some activity or inclination to perform some activity. So this is the time when Jiva starts working because we all are in the effect of the false ego. So we think that we are the body, and to maintain our body, we start doing some work. Whether that work is karma or vikarma, we are, just doing that till the time we don't get the actual realization or actual knowledge about it. So this inclination to perform the activity is that we are working and working in a bodily, concept of life. And because of which we, take the birth again, because whatever karma, nice, good, auspicious work we have done, we have to come back to take it back. If we have done any inauspicious or bad karmas, again, we have to come to take the reactions of that. So this cycle of birth and death starts. So Uti is basically the inclination to perform activity or karma. Then comes the sixth one, Manvantara. Manvantara is the reigns of Manus. So we are here means we read about Manus, or we have been explained by sages about the Manus, because Manus are the father of the mankind. And also, each and every Manu, when their reign starts, by the way, what is the total Chatur Yugas? How many Chatur Yugas are there when the Manu changes?
72 yoga cycles, Mataji.
71 plus, you can say. Yeah, Mataji,
Yeah.
right. So, So, and how many Manus come in one day of Brahma?
14.
So 14 Manus. Yeah, perfect, Mataji. 14 Manus comes in one day of Brahma, which is also called as Kalpa. And that is like 71 plus or 72, around that, duration, the reign of one Manu is. And so now this Manvantara is all about, 8th canto is filled up with this Manvantara and the different Manus, different Manvantara avatars of Lord, and how it changes, what it changes. So that is all about Manus. So then comes, after Manvantara, Ishanukatha. Ishanukatha is all about Lord's activities, Lord's pastimes, Lord's different incarnations, and also about the devotees of the Lord. So the stories of the devotees, because through the devotees' stories also we learn a lot. We come to know that what has to be done and what means not to be performed. So this is Ishanukatha. Next comes Nirodha. Nirodha is actually annihilation. So we all know that after the annihilation, what happens? Everyone goes in the abdomen of Mahavishnu, and again we wait for the next creation when it happens, and then again we are placed in different planets and all as per our karma and desires. So that is Nirodha. There are actually 4 kinds of annihilations, which are described in 12th canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam. So the first annihilation is the annihilation which is the night, which comes in the night of Brahma. So that annihilation is called as Naimittika annihilation. Naimittika annihilation is which comes every night of Brahma. Then end of the day of Brahma, end of the life of Brahma is called the annihilation, which is called as Prakritika annihilation, which is the final annihilation, where everything will be burned up and finished. So that is the final devastation or final annihilation. Then comes the annihilation, which is Ayantika. Ayantika is not the annihilation like everything will go in the abdomen and everything will be finished, but this personal body, what we have got, that will be annihilated. And a person, the soul will go back to Lord, the liberation, which we can say. That is Ayantika annihilation, because that will be the moment this body will be finished. This body, the Sthula Sharira also, the Sukshma Sharira also, the subtle body also, and the soul will go back to Godhead. So that is called Ayantika. And the last one is called Nitya annihilation. So what is Nitya annihilation? That constantly, each and every day, each and every minute, each and every hour, this annihilation is happening within our body, the deterioration of the body, right? So this is called Nitya or constant annihilation. So these are the 4 annihilations which are described in 12th canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam. Because 12th canto of
Hare
Shrimad
Krishna,
Bhagavatam is...
Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you tell this annihilation, the first 2 types of annihilation which you were saying about Brahman?
Mataji, Naimittika is the end of Brahma's day. That is Naimittika annihilation. The second one is the end of Brahma's life. That is Prakritika annihilation. Then the Ayantika, which is the end of this body. The person is going back to Lord's abode. And the last one is Nitya, which is each and every day constantly is happening in our body. So that is Nitya annihilation. So these 4 are actually described in according to Shrimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 4th chapter. So is it okay, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Okay. Doubts, but let me ask after the class.
Yeah, sure, Mataji, sure. So, Mukti. Mukti is permanent situation of the living entity. So that is the liberation. That finally person is going back to Lord, that is Mukti. And Ashraya is basically that the taking the shelter of Lord Krishna, taking the shelter of the Samambona. So that is the Ashraya. So all these 9 topics are talking about Ashraya. That we will see in the second shloka of this chapter. So Radhika Mataji, can you please read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Dashamasya vishuddhyartam navanamiha kalakshanam varnayanti mahatmanah shrutenartena chanjasa. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.
Yeah, Divya Mataji, you can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. To isolate the transcendence of the Samam Bonam, the symptoms of the rest are described, sometimes by Vedic inference, sometimes by direct explanation, and sometimes by summary explanations given by great sages. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Hari Bol. Yeah, so there are different sages, different acharyas. They have explained us these, first nine subject matters. And yeah. Okay, I just forgot that. This is the pictorial form of all the 10 characteristics. So it starts with the sarga. Then visarga, subcreation, sthana, just a revision, sthana, that how it is maintained, and the planetary systems and the jivas are placed, and then poshana, which is protection, uti, which is work, inclination to work, and manvantara, means of Manu, shanukatha, means about Bhagavan, about knowing about different incarnations, and then nirodha, which is annihilation, mukti, which is liberation, and in the center, who is there? Krishna. In the center, this ashraya is there. That is what we are going to discuss in this shloka, which we have just read. That there is no need. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. That or Shukadev Goswami rather is saying here that there is no need for describing the ashraya topic separately. Actually, if you are learning about all the 9 topics, you will come to know that who is the ashraya, who is your shelter, and where you should go to take shelter. So it is none other, he is none other than Krishna. So this will be very clear if the 9 topics will be described as per the instructions of the the Vyasadev or Brahmaji or Shukadev Goswami. So this is very, very clear that the ashraya will be Krishna only. There is no other ashraya. And for all the living, all the creatures, all the living entities. So this is what all the different sages have described through different narrations, through different analogies, through different stories of the devotees, that the ultimate ashraya of the living entity is Krishna. So this is the quiz over here. So which shloka is this? What is the number? Or if someone knows the shloka, seed giving father, aham bija pradapita. No one? Okay, this is in 14th chapter. This is 14th chapter.
Sarvayonishu.
14.4 Mataji.
14.4, right, Mataji? Yes. So this is the shloka which is also giving us
Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiyaha tasam brahma mahatiyonir aham beja pradapita.
Yeah, perfect, Mataji, perfect. So this is the shloka which is also giving the same information to us. that to all these species of life, it is not to only the human beings or only these, all the species of life, there is only one Pita, there is only one person who is the seed-giving father. He is Krishna himself. So, coming to the point, actually acharyas say generally that if a person understands the 9 subject matters, then only he will understand about the 10th subject matter properly, about the incarnations, pastimes, about the leelas of the Lord. Why people have so many questions about, why Krishna did that, why Sri Ram did that? Because they do not have the proper education or proper knowledge about the first 9 subjects. This is why they, question. So one Prabhu, I've heard a lecture where he was saying that people can ask a question, why these 10 subject matters? Why not simply we should hear about the glories of the Lord, about the pastimes of the Lord, not the glories, pastimes of the Lord, different stories of the Lord, the leelas of the Lord. So that Prabhu said that when we say, suppose an example, that my son has got admission in IIMS or in IIT or in any big institute. And suppose the second person whom you are telling, he doesn't know about IIT, he doesn't know about IIM. So what will you do? First of all, you will give the introduction about the institute, right? That this institute is so big and number one in India, and the people who are passed out from this or passing out, they are getting this much of salary package. So then he will understand, oh, okay, so this big institute, there's a big institute, and this person's son or daughter has been selected to this institute. Similarly, when we are talking about Bhagavan, when we are, talking about the Leelas, we should also know that whose Leela I'm talking about. This person is, this is the person from all the 9, first 9 topics are actually Ashrita of him. Actually, they are Ashrita. And he is the only Ashray. And then we will understand and we will have no questions about the Leelas of the Lord. That's why Lord is performing this Leela. Many you people know, I don't have to mention over here. So we will have no question. Because we know that whatever Krishna, Sri Ram, the Simdev, whatever they are performing with some purpose. Maybe we are not aware, maybe we don't know, but there is a purpose. And this only a sadhu, only a sage or a learned man can educate us about. So this is that all of us are Ashrita and Lord is the only Ashraya. Also it comes, I'll first ask Nirmala Mataji, can you read this?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can you read the sloka?
Yeah, Mataji, shloka also.
Kalimala Samkatika. How can I
Kalimala Samhati Kalanu Akhilesho.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
Kalimala Sampati Kaleno Kilesho Harid Ittaratrana Diyatehi Abhikshanam Ihatu Punar Bhagavan Ashesha Murtihi Paripati no Padam Kata Prasankahi. Translation Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Hari, the supreme controller of all beings, annihilates the accumulated sins of the Kali age. Yet other literatures do not constantly glorify him. But that supreme personality of Godhead, appearing in his innumerable personal expansions, is abundantly and constantly described throughout the various narrations of this Shrimad Bhagavatam. Shrimad Bhagavatam 12.12.66. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Haribol, thank you, Mataji. So the 12th canto, 12th chapter, which is the second last chapter of 12th canto, 66 shloka, Suta Goswami is saying about it. What is he saying? What is the important point which we have to take away from this shloka? Is that constantly describe the glories of the Lord on different expansions in the glories of different expansions of the Lord. constantly described in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is missing, maybe missing in other Puranas, other literatures, as Suta Goswami is quoting over here, but it is not missing in Srimad Bhagavatam. And I've also heard that when these 9 characteristics, first of all, when these 10 characteristics are there in other Puranas or in any Puran, that Puran is called as Mahapuran. Okay, when all those 10 characteristics are mentioned. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, the nature of Srimad Bhagavatam or the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam is that all the 9 subject matters are constantly throwing the light on the 10th subject matter, which is Ashraya. So no one who is reading Srimad Bhagavatam has any doubt that whom do I worship? No doubt at all. And this is the reason, also this is one of the reasons why Srimad Bhagavatam is called as Amala Puran. And so that's what Suta Goswami is very clearly told here. But that Supreme Personality of Godhead appearing in his innumerable personal expansion is evidently and constantly described throughout the various narrations of this Srimad Bhagavatam, which other literatures do not constantly glorify. So very clear. From this shloka only, we are clear that why we should read Srimad Bhagavatam and in a very submissive way, and then there will be no doubt in our life. So going to the next shloka. The third shloka. So, Sharmila Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Bhuta matendriya diyam janma sarga udahrataha brahmano guna vaishamya visarga paurusha smritaha. Should I read the
translation as well?
Yeah. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The elementary creation of 16 items of matter, namely the 5 elements, fire, water, land, air and sky, sound, form, taste, smell, touch, and the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin and mind is known as sarga, whereas subsequent resultant interaction of the modes of material nature is called visarga. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So this is, I told you, this 16 matters will be explained in the third shloka. So these are the 16 items of matter which has been given by Lord to Lord Brahma to create for the creation. And that's how the Sarga creation is called this, that the 16 matters and or the 24 elements. Somewhere it is written as 24, somewhere 16. But these are the main basic elements. So, okay. Can someone, Chandana Mataji, can you please read
Yes, Mataji.
This paragraph?
Yes, Mataji.
Up till here.
As mentioned in the previous verse, Shrutena, or with reference to the Vedic conclusion, the creation is made possible from the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly by manifestation of his particular energies. Without such a Vedic reference, the creation appears to be a product of material nature. This conclusion comes from a poor fund of knowledge. From Vedic reference, it is concluded that the origin of all energies, namely internal, external, and marginal, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. So that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. Ki why this conclusion happens that people think that this creation appears to be a product of material nature because they don't have the proper knowledge. Because as mentioned in the previous verse, Shrutena, or with reference to the Vedic conclusions, the creation is made possible from the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly by manifestation of his particular energies. So what are these particular energies? We will discuss in detail, not in detail, but yeah, somewhat. Okay. So here, now here we know that that the 16 elements are the first 5. First, actually 4. Panchabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Tanmatras, the object of the senses, is smell, taste, form, touch, sound. Jnanendriyas, eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and skin, and mind. This is called as the 16 elements, which are given in the shloka itself. But if you will add another 8, it will become the 24 elements. What? Karmendriyas, voice, legs, hands, anus, and genitals. False ego, intelligence, and 3 gunas. So all together, this is formed as the 24 elements. Otherwise, somewhere it is mentioned as the 16 elements, somewhere it is mentioned as 24 elements. So this is given as the subject, means as the elements, elements of matter to Brahmaji. And from this, Brahmaji is creating everything, all the bodies of the species, the planets, whatever we can see is the basic ingredients are these which are mentioned over here. So this is it. And then we come to the 4th shloka. 4th shloka is little lengthy, so we'll give time to that shloka also. Yeah. Subbarao Prabhu, you can
Hare
read the shloka and translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hari Bol.
Titirvaikuntha vijayaha poshanam tadanugrahaha manvantarani sadharma utaya karma vasanaha. Translation.
Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Madam, translation. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. The right situation for the living entities is to obey the laws of the Lord and thus be in perfect peace of mind under the protection of the Supreme Personality of the God. The manners and their laws are meant to give right direction in life. The impetus for activity is the desire for fruitive work.
Okay, so here the right situation for the living entities is to obey the laws of the Lord and thus be in perfect peace of mind. So that's what Prabhupada is also explaining in the purport. We will read that in a few moments. The right situation. So what is the right situation of a living entity? I've highlighted over here. Vaikuntha Vijaya, the victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha. Always singing the glories of the victory of the Lord. This is the right situation. This is the right sthanam of a person. That's what we have discussed earlier as well. The sthanam in a way of like in the perspective of material creation is different. But actual sthanam is the glorification of the Lord. And through glorifying Lord, we can go back to Lord's abode. So here, Srila Prabhupada is writing a very good point over here. Sudha Mataji can read this highlighted point.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandapranam. It is the duty of all conditioned souls to acknowledge the victory of the Lord and thus become pure devotees and live peacefully in this world where miseries and dangers are always in existence. The conditioned souls who take this material creation as a place for satisfaction of the senses and thus are illusioned by the external energy of Vishnu remain again to be subjected to the laws of material nature, creation and destruction. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So here, Srila Prabhupada is writing that it is the duty of all the conditioned souls to always acknowledge and glorify Lord. And this is the only way that a person can live peacefully in this world. Otherwise, what happens? Prabhupada is quoting another point over here, where miseries and dangers are always in existence. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that if a person is leading his life in such a spiritual way, that is the only way he can be peaceful. Otherwise, what happens? These miseries and dangers are there in each step. So sometimes it happens that people come to a very comfortable, we say comfortable zone. So people come to that comfortable zone. They think that I'll always have this wealth, whatever wealth they have. I'll always have this wealth. I'll always have my home. I'll always have my, big bungalow or big villa. I'll always have everything how it is right now in a very, perfect, so-called perfect condition. And they don't realize that because they do not have this knowledge that it is not means anything you will do, but this will always not remain the same. Something will come. Maybe outside world cannot able to see because your bungalow and everything will be intact. But internally, what you are going through, that can change. Anything can change, right? Outwardly, inside, whatever. But changes will definitely come. And a very good example we have seen in Corona. How many people, they were millionaires. But what happened? Suddenly in Corona, their businesses, their many things have gone, like down, and ultimately, and this is a real, a real face of misery, what we can see. Though we don't like to discuss about it, but just for our understanding why Prabhupada is saying that miseries and dangers are there in each step. So that we can see. Even very recently, this submarine, I'm pretty sure all of you know that it went with all the millionaires and billionaires of a particular place, and they wanted to do the adventure. What was the adventure? They were going to the Titanic, that where accident actually happened to that place, and that submarine was missing for some time, and then later everyone came to know that they are no more. So no one knows. So these miseries and dangers are there, and we should not think that right now my situation, this comfortable zone will always be there. No, means this is not possible. So what is the cure of that? What is the remedy? That we should always engage in the glorification of the Lord, like we are all doing over here. Sitting every day 9:30 to 10:30, we are what? We are glorifying the Lord through Shrimad Bhagavatam. And then Srila Prabhupada is saying that the conditioned souls who take this material creation as the place for satisfaction of the senses and thus are illusion, they remain again to be subjected to the laws of material nature, creation and destruction. So always the cycle will go on and on. Now the next point comes. Navakishori Mataji, can you read this?
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam.
Pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
The only the highlighted points, yeah.
Yes, Mataji. The directive scriptures made by the Manus in the different age and millennium are called
Sadharma.
Sorry, Sadharma, good guidance for the human beings who should take advantage of all the revealed scriptures in for their own interest to make life successful termination. When such a regulative path is accepted, the Lord gives all protections to his devotees by his causeless mercy, while the non-devotees risk their own activities to bind themselves in the chain of fruitive reactions. Sadharma, or duty performed for going back to Godhead, and thus becoming his honored devotee is the only pious activity. All others may pretend to be pious, but actually they are not.
The last one.
Yes, Mataji. Work situated in Sadharma is the right direction of life. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Yeah. So the sthiti is that everyone has to glorify the Lord and Lord's victory. And the second point, which is very important over here, that Lord, and Poshanam is that Lord always gives protection, so that we do not have to worry. The third point is very clearly explained in the last portion of this paragraph, that the Manus who are giving this Saddharma, actually the Manus are giving this Manu Samhita. And in this Manu Samhita, it is a kind of a law book which if you will follow, you will not deviate from the self-realization path. So following this Sadharma, a person can achieve his original situation, original position. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. And also like about Manu, so how we are, coming to the point from the Uti to Manu, because actually Parikshit Maharaj asked this question in third canto. In third canto, he had asked about Swayambhuva Manu. Actually, he wanted to know about all the Manus, but Swayambhuva Manu's lineage and how that has to be, it was dragged up till the sixth canto, then seventh canto was about Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. And the eighth canto, Parikshit Maharaj is asking that I want to know about all the Manus. So Srila Shukadev Goswami is giving in 8th canto very elaborately, he is giving about all the Manus, what happens in each reign of the Manu. So there are kind of 6 changes happen in each reign of Manu. See, Manu change, that is one change. Second is Manu Putras. So this Manu's Putras and their lineage, so that is how the Manu Putras are also changed, definitely. Third is the Manvantara avatar. So in each Manus, there is a different Manvantara avatar of the Lord. So like in Swayambhuva Manu, the Yagyapati was the avatar. Then after that, the Chakshusha Manu, Lord Ajit was the avatar. Lord Ajit was the Kurma avatar. In the present Manu, who is the present Manu?
Vivaswata.
Vivaswata Manu, right, Shanta Mataji. Yes, Vivaswata Manu. So in his reign, Vamana avatar. So like that, Manvantara avatar changes. So 3 changes. 4th changes, Saptarishi. Saptarishis will also change. So Saptarishi is nothing but a position. And in that position, each time, each Manu's reign, different rishis come. So in present Manu's time, Vivaswata Manu's time, there is I think Kashyap Muni is there, the Bharadwaj Muni is there, Gautam Muni is there. So all these are the Saptarishis in the present Manu's reign, Vivaswata Manu reigns. And then the Devatas change. And then lastly, the 6th change will be Indra will change. So these 6 changes will happen in each reign of Manu, in every 71 plus 72 Divya Yugas. So this is what is there in Manu's, this 8th canto. 8th canto is all about, that we will read once we will reach in 8th canto, we will read about it in detail. And so this is all about Manvantara. Now we'll come to the last section or last shloka, which is 5th shloka. Yeah, someone who hasn't read so far can take up and read the shloka and the translation. Nanita.
Hello, Mataji.
Yeah.
Avataranacharitam Hare Sasyanipattinam Pumsam Ishakata Prokta Nanatyanopa Vimhitaha. Translation by Prabhupada Ki Jai. The science of God describes the incarnations of the personality of Godhead and his different activities together with the activities of his great devotees. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you can read purport also.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much. During the purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, during the course of the existence of the cosmic manifestation.
Okay, Mataji, I'm so sorry. Mataji, Shobha Mataji is she also wants to read. So Shobha
Sure,
Mataji, you can take up this purport.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Should I read only the highlighted one, Mataji?
No, Mataji, the whole purport you can read.
Okay, from where should I read?
During the course of the existence.
During the course of existence of the cosmic manifestation, the chronology of history is created, recording the activities of the living entities. People in general have a tendency to learn the history and narrations of different men and times, but due to a lack of knowledge in the science of Godhead, they are not apt to study the history of incarnations of the personality of Godhead. It should always be remembered that the material creation is created for the salvation of the conditioned souls. The merciful Lord, out of his causeless mercy, descends to various planets in the material world and acts for the salvation of the conditioned souls. That makes the history and narrations worth reading. Shrimad Bhagavatam offers such transcendental topics of the Lord in relationship with great devotees. Therefore, the topic of devotees and the Lord ought to be given respectful oral reception. Can you move? Is it over? Or?
Yeah, it's over, Mataji.
Hare
So,
Krishna, Dandavad Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So this is why we are reading the whole purport, because this is actually the irony that we are never, never read in our schools about all these subjects, right? And when we have reached to one, middle age, then only we have started reading all this. So one Prabhu was saying, actually, it's an unerasable history, which is never told in, any school. So this is the whole Ishanu Katha, you can say it is very much started from the first canto, because about Narad Muni we have heard, about Pandavas we have heard, about then Brahmaji second canto. So it's all they are all the devotees of the Lord. We are hearing about the devotees of the Lord, their realizations. But okay, yeah. So all realizations about them. But basically, if you will see this Ishanukatha is denoted to the 9th canto, where there are many devotees, pastimes are there, and very clear instructions from those pastimes, and also the incarnation of Sri Ram. So incarnation of Sri Ram, then Yayati stories there, Pururava stories there, Sagara stories there, and there are many actually. Pururava also is there. So even Parashuram incarnation is also there. So that is the 9th canto is designated to this Ishanu Katha actually. And this way, all these, the whole Shrimad Bhagavatam is talking about, about Lord's different incarnations, Lord's different glories, and through the, even through the devotees' incidences or devotees' lives or devotees' stories also, we come to know about the glory of the Lord. Because, even the 6th canto, which is Uti, it also describes about Jamila's story. It also describes about Indra's story, how when Brahaspati Maharaj was, angry with Indra. So what happened? And it's also talks about Vritasura. So all these are, apart from Vritasura, these two were not the pure devotees of the Lord, but then also that comes under Poshanam, Poshanam. So how they got the protection of the Lord. So that is also there. So with this last slide, I will end the presentation and end the session. Then after we can take up the question and answers. So the last one is revision. So what all we have covered today, this is here. 10 subject matters of Shrimad Bhagavatam, right? So what are the 10 subject matters? Can someone say? Without looking at the book, please. Can someone say? Okay, what are the first two?
Sarga and Visarga.
Sarga and Visarga.
Perfect. Sarga and Visarga. Then after the next two.
Sthanam
and Poshanam. Yeah, Sthanam and Poshanam. Next two.
Uti Manvantara.
Uti and then Manvantara. Uti and Manvantara. Okay. Then
Ishanukatha
and Nirodha. Right. And the last two?
Mukti and Ashraya.
Mukti and Ashraya. Right. Okay, perfect. So first is Sarga, then Visarga, then Sthanam, then Poshanam, then Uti, Manvantara, and then comes to Nirodha, Ishanukatha, right. Ishanukatha, Nirodha, and then Mukti and Ashraya. So these are the 10 topics. Don't worry, these 10 topics will be very much clear to you once you will go step by step like we are going. But just to remember these topics, I would request all of you to learn this first shloka of 10th chapter, so that at least you will come to know the names and you will not be confused between the names itself. At least names will be clear, and then you will step by step you will come to know about all these 10 characteristics in detail in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so 10 subject matters of Shrimad Bhagavatam. Then Ashray of the Samambona. So that is described in the second shloka, that whatever we discuss in Shrimad Bhagavatam, it comes to the Ashray. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, except the prayers of the devotees, there are so many prayers, Dhruva prayer, Bhishma Pitama prayer, Kunti prayer, Chukadev Goswami, Arjuna, so many people have Brahmaji prayers. So many people have done the prayers in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Except these prayers, nowhere it is very, clearly defined as, you have to take the ashray of Sri Krishna. But this topic, this particular 10th topic is very much clear, because these 9 topics are, directing us towards the 10th topic. Then the 16 original principles, which is Sarga, explanations of Sthanam, Poshanam, Puti, and Manvantara, and then Ishanukatha. The last one we have seen, Ishanukatha. So this is how we end today's session. I hope it was a little bit clear. I'm not pretty sure, because this subject is not technical, but yes, like you have to hear it again and again.
Very technical, Mataji. Thank you so much. Excellent. Hare Krishna.
And Mataji, also when we read it again and again, we'll have proper understanding also.
Yeah, Mataji, because 10 subject matters are, once you will go in detail, then only you will understand it in detail. Right now, we are just doing the kind of summary.
Basic.
Yeah. So questions, if anyone has any questions, some Mataji was saying about the, somewhere she said, she has some question. I forgot. Okay. Yeah.
It's about the 4 kinds of annihilation.
Annihilations, right, Mataji? Yeah, Anasuya Mataji. Yeah, tell me.
Someone asked about those things, Mataji. That's what I remember.
Okay.
I
don't
can
know.
you explain once, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can I try,
Hare
Krishna, can I try explaining this 10 subjects, so that, the 4 types of annihilation, so that I will also...
Yeah. Okay, Mataji. Okay. So the first annihilation is that is, I'll just give you first the reference. It is from the 12th canto, 12th chapter, 12th canto, 4th chapter. 4th chapter. So the whole 4th chapter is about the annihilation. 4 types of annihilation. So now, starting with the first annihilation. What is the first annihilation? That is called the Naimittika annihilation, which is at the end of Brahma's day. I'll just mute everyone. Okay. So the first annihilation is Naimittika annihilation, which is after the completing the day of Brahma. So that is the first annihilation which happens. Then the second annihilation is the Prakritika annihilation, which is you can also say final annihilation, where Brahma's life, the 100 years of Brahma ends, and the whole creation goes, back to the Mahavishnu. But when, the difference between these 2 annihilation is that when the Naimittika annihilation happens at the end of the Brahma's day, at that time, the first 3 planets are not annihilated. At least Brahma's planet will always be there up till that 100 years. But the final annihilation, when Brahma's life will also be completed and finished, then the whole 14 planetary system will go, it will be vanished. It will be not vanished, it will be go back to Mahavishnu's abdomen. So now these 2 annihilations are related to Brahmaji. The third annihilation comes, or related to Brahmaji's, life cycle. Then the third annihilation, which comes to the Ayantika annihilation, which is when the body, the person realize that what is my actual goal of life? What is my actual position? And he starts working towards that path. So that annihilation is called Ayantika annihilation, because once he leaves this body, he will leave it all together and go back to Lord's abode. So that where he will get the liberation. The body itself will end. Whether it's a gross body to always ends, but even the sukshma, even the subtle body as well. And he will go upwards to the spiritual lokas or spiritual planets, Vaikuntha planet or Golok Vrindavan, wherever. Then it comes the fourth annihilation, which is nitya, which is constant. Each day it is happening with us. And a very good example of this is that every day, each day you can't see the change, but definitely you can see the change between 10, 12 years passing your life down the line, 5 or 6 years or 10 years or 20 years. So you can actually see the change. So that is the nitya annihilation. Constant annihilation is happening within our body. So deterioration of the body. So that is ayantika. So if we will see naimittika, prakritika, the ayantika, and nitya, these are the 4 annihilations. Yeah. So
Mataji, this notes is in 12.12.4, correct?
No, not 12. Mataji, 12th canto, 4th chapter.
Oh, sorry, 12.4. Okay.
12.4. 12th canto, 4th chapter.
4th chapter. Sure.
I think that the title is also about annihilation only.
Sure. Because these names, I couldn't register. The content I got, that Namatika, Prakritika.
Naimittika, Prakritika, Ayantika, and Nitya.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Excellent.
So shall we end here? Haribol? Okay, I'll do Vaishnava pranams and then we'll end the session. पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णवंदी की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे कृष्णा to everyone.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, hats off to your team also, Mataji, for giving us so much knowledge. First, you said hats off to us for listening, but hats off to you all also, Mataji.
And hats off to all the other Mataji, all these speakers. Actually, I'm doing nothing actually, but they are really good. So yeah, so our Vaishnava pranams to all of you, to all the speakers, and all, especially Ashish Prabhu, because he is the one who is getting us together.
Ashish Prabhu also, yes.
All of them. Yes, Mataji, of course.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.